Kingston Lacy herd of Red Devon cattle were first recorded here in 1894, which makes them the oldest recorded herd in the world. We've got some of the most famous breeding stock names in our herd books, and the Kingston Lacy name is very prestigious within the breed society and can be found across the world. So the Devons are ideal for grazing in the parkland because despite their apparent size, they're quite a lightweight animal. You'd sort of expect an average weight of about 600 kilos for a grown female, compared to something of 800 or 900 for a continental. So this means that we can leave them out in the parkland for longer to satisfy our conservation grazing objectives and deliver the appearance of the park and the sort of tussled, even look that we're aiming for here at Kingston Lacy. And so to do that, Mark, the stockman, shepherds them. You can often see the cows in different fields from one day to the next. The Devon breed's popular because they're an easy-to-handle, docile animal, and the donor Banks referred to them as his red rubies. I regard them as the jewel in the crown of Kingston Lacy, because looking at them in the parkland you can really see how good they look. Their deep red coat that gets a lovely deep sheen from the grass-based ration and extensive grazing that they're on really does look special in the parkland.
I started at Kingston Lacy back in 1977, straight out of school, 16, and it was such a completely different place to what it is now, really. It was full of animals, the hum was there of the dairy machine going, and to walk into that was a heck of an experience, really. When I started, it was the milking element. We used to milk twice a day, 7:30 and again at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. And so that was a big chunk of the day really taken out with just doing that bit of milking. We only ever milked 3 to 4 cows, but we had a full functioning dairy with electric pump and all that sort of stuff. Although the Devons aren't really known for milk, they're more known for beef. The milk that they do produce is absolutely beautiful, and within a normal can of milk, sort of 4-pint can of milk, you can end up with thick cream that thick, and it really is thick, thick enough to put your finger in and have a taste. So that was the big part of the farm and that whole job, really. Cattle are as important a part of the estate as anything else. They adorn the 250 acres of park perfectly. The contrast of their lovely ruby red colour against the green grass and the cedar trees throughout the park is magnificent. And I'm sure the Banks family, one of the things they would have had in mind was, we want an animal that looks grand to compete with the rest of the place. Well, it's starting to slowly change really from following the sad news that Squire Banks had died back in 1981. Things started to feel different. We used to milk a few cows just for Squire Banks's milk. So obviously once he passed away, there wasn't a requirement for that. So things started to really slowly change. There was no big drastic change really. Certainly not until the trust arrived, and then they started to reschedule things and sort of wind the farming element of the farm down a bit. So yeah, it was a gradual change towards where we are now with our beef suckler herd.
Calving is a really important time for us, as it is for any herd, but here at Kingston Lacy we're a closed herd because the significance of the breed and our blood stock, our pedigree animals, is so high we don't buy in any females. So what we're doing at calving is bringing on the next generation of the herd, and so it's really important to get that right so that we can continue the work that the donor started all those years ago and make sure that the Kingston Lacy herd can maintain its position as one of the most prestigious herds in the country.
Pedigree cattle are like pets. You need to treat them on a one-to-one basis. Commercial cattle, you just chuck them food, make sure they're alive, and that's about it really. That's all you really need to do. But pedigree cattle, you get up and close personal with them all the time. You can't do anything with cattle that just want to run off. You need to be able to move them, especially with fields and parkland this size.
So another benefit of the Devon breed is that they're easy calvers, and so they all come into the barn round about Christmas time, and we hope that the cows will start to calve naturally. So Mark, our stockman, will keep a close eye on them. He spends most of his time in the barns with them at calving. And when he sees one showing the signs of starting to calve, he'll move her into the calving pens. And hopefully it will all happen naturally. And it's not uncommon for Mark to go home for breakfast or his lunch and to come back and the cow to have calved on her own. So as long as the mother is licking the calf and it's standing up, everything's fine.